Midas and his golden touch. Long ago, in a wealthy kingdom where the sun always seemed to shine a little brighter, there lived a king named Midas. He had everything a man could want: golden goblets, glittering palaces, gardens blooming with roses. But above all else, Midas loved one thing more than anything in the world: gold. He measured his wealth in coins and counted his treasure daily, running his fingers through piles of riches with a greedy smile. Though he ruled a peaceful land and had a kind daughter who adored him, Midas often wished for more gold, more power, more treasure to call his own. One day, his wish was granted. While walking in his gardens, Midas came upon a strange figure sleeping beneath a tree. It was Silenus, the friend and companion of Dionysus, the god of wine and celebration. Instead of sending the old man away, Midas welcomed him, offered him food and shelter, and treated him with surprising kindness. When Dionysus came to retrieve his friend, he was so pleased by Midas's hospitality that he offered the king one reward: any wish he desired. Without hesitation, Midas spoke. "Grant me this, O great Dionysus, that everything I touch be turned to gold." The god raised an eyebrow, but agreed. "So be it," he said, "but use your gift wisely." The next morning, Midas awoke eager to test his power. He reached out and touched the leg of his wooden bed, and it shimmered into solid gold. He laughed and clapped his hands with joy. He touched a stone floor tile. Gold. He picked a rose from the garden. Golden petals, golden stem. No scent, no softness. Still, he was thrilled. Everywhere he went, gold followed. His servants stood in awe, as even the food on his table gleamed with wealth. But then hunger came. Midas reached for a grape. The moment it touched his lips, it hardened. Gold. He tried bread, meat, wine. All turned to metal in his mouth. He could taste nothing, swallow nothing. Then came the true blow. His daughter, seeing her father's distress, ran to comfort him. Midas turned toward her, reached out, and the moment his fingers brushed her cheek, she froze into a golden statue. Her eyes, once full of love and laughter, were now lifeless metal. The joy drained from Midas's face. He fell to his knees and wept, not for riches, but for what he had lost. "Take it back," he cried to the sky. "Take it all back. I want nothing but my daughter's arms around me. I want to feel warmth, to hear laughter, to live again." Dionysus heard. He appeared once more and looked at the broken king. "Go to the river Pactolus," he said. "Wash yourself in its waters, and your curse will be lifted." Midas ran. At the edge of the river, he plunged his hands into the flowing water, and the gold melted from his skin. The spell was undone. He returned home, and when he touched his daughter again, she stirred, soft and living, her smile blooming like the roses that now swayed gently in the wind. From that day on, Midas no longer cared for gold. He learned to value sunlight, laughter, the scent of a flower, the touch of a hand, and the preciousness of love over glitter. And so, the tale of King Midas endures, not as a celebration of riches, but as a warning. True wealth is not what you can hold in your hands, but what you hold in your heart. The tale of Sisyphus. In the age of gods and heroes, when the line between mortal and divine was thin as mist, there lived a man named Sisyphus, the king of Corinth. He was clever, perhaps too clever for his own good. He built a thriving city, outwitted enemies, and even deceived the gods themselves. But his cunning, once a source of pride, would one day become his curse. Sisyphus delighted in trickery. He exposed Zeus's secrets, chained the god of death, Thanatos, and for a brief time, no one could die. Heroes remained wounded on battlefields. The sick lingered in endless suffering. Even Hades grew restless. Eventually, the gods restored order. Thanatos was freed, and Sisyphus, condemned for his arrogance, was dragged to the underworld. But Sisyphus had one more trick. He convinced Persephone, queen of the dead, that he had not been given a proper burial. With a smooth tongue and false sorrow, he asked to return to the world above just for a short time to set things right. She agreed. But once back among the living, Sisyphus refused to return. He lived comfortably for many years, thumbing his nose at death. The gods had had enough. When finally dragged back to the underworld, no lies or excuses could save him. Zeus himself decreed his punishment, a task without end. Sisyphus was taken to a barren hillside. At its base lay a massive, heavy boulder. His punishment was simple, but cruel. He was to push the boulder up the hill. Straining with all his might, he would groan and sweat, inching it upward, step by painful step. And just when he reached the top, just as the summit was within reach, the boulder would slip from his hands, roll back down, and crash to the base. Over and over, forever. There would be no rest, no escape, no finish. The gods believed this to be the perfect punishment, a task that mocked effort, mocked ambition, mocked hope. And yet, the story did not end there. For some say that as Sisyphus wipes his brow and sets his hands to the stone once more, he smiles, not out of joy, but out of defiance. The gods gave him a task meant to break the spirit, but in continuing, in choosing to push the stone again, he keeps his will, his identity, his rebellion. And so, Sisyphus became not just a symbol of punishment, but of something greater, the human spirit, the ability to rise again, even when failure is certain, to push on, not because success is promised, but because we choose to keep going. The tale of Sisyphus reminds us, even when the task seems endless, even when the weight is heavy and the goal unreachable, there is meaning in the struggle itself, and sometimes strength is not found in victory, but in never giving up.